Different directions record-wise meet today. The Rams unbeaten, the Eagles looking for their first win of the year, and this is just superb football weather. Temperature at kickoff 65 degrees. Hi everybody, I'm Gary Bender along with the coach Hank Stram. And Hank, at the start of the year, Buddy Ryan said we'll win the NFC East. He still thinks they're going to make the playoffs, but the system hasn't kicked in yet. They're making too many mistakes.
They are making a lot of mistakes right now, Gary, but I think they're going to get better and better as they progress during the course of the season. And the selling point that Buddy Ryan gives to his squad is the fact that, listen, we've lost 3. We play 16 games. We could be 13-3, and that's the way they feel.
Buddy Ryan is known as the architect of the 46 defense, and that really concerns the Rams today.
It really does, because it's a great variety of aggressive surges by the defense of the Philadelphia Eagles, and they have to decide whether they're going to take the skateboard like they usually take or take the Concorde. I think they have to get up on top when they have the advantage and have the opportunity, but we have to see what they do in that situation as to how successful they'll be this afternoon.
All right, the Rams have won the toss. They have elected to receive. As you look at this, the Rams are 3-0. However, 2 of their wins over clubs who haven't won this year. The Eagles, on the other hand, have lost to 3 unbeatens, plus a 4th represented by the Rams today. And the Eagles trying to avoid their first 0-4 start since 1972. Paul McFadden will be kicking off. Back deep is Charles White, along with Ron Brown. This will be Brown. He'll bring it out. Out to the 25-yard line and drop there. Ron Brown, who had the flu prior to today, coming out of there very strongly. There is a penalty flag. We're going to have to check this one out. Brown did not even practice yesterday due to the flu. It's going to be a penalty against the Rams.
You know, Gary, I talked to Ron right on the field right before the game, and he said he lost 8 or 9 pounds since he's had the flu. He's very weak.
Here is Steve Bartkowski.
Holding number 51 on a receiving team. 10-yard, first down.
So they will not have good field position as we look now defensively at the Philadelphia Eagles. Reggie White, in the estimation of Buddy Ryan, is the best defensive lineman he's ever been around. Reichenbach, he is the Mike Singletary of this defense. And Wes Hopkins is playing on a bad knee. We'll have to watch it. He's playing at about what he thought was 75% efficiency.
Gary, when the defensive backs are off this far, they have to throw in front of the defensive backs as much as they can. There they do it right off the bat.
And they come out throwing to Bobby Duckworth, and Duckworth will advance it to the 22. 2 penalty flags going to the air. Roynell Young was over there to make the stop for Philadelphia.
Gary, again, I think the way they play defensively, you know, whenever they're off the receivers as deep as they were that time, you have to take advantage of throwing in front. And when they get up on top of you with bump and run, then you got to go up on top. You can't be afraid to throw the ball against this defense and keep them off balance.
Tackling by face mask. Ben Tripe
Defense
is the
number
referee.
43 grabbed the face mask. That's 5 yards, and that'll make it a first down.
Watch Roynell Young, 43. He's making the tackle, and he finally comes up from the backside and grabs the face mask.
And so we have a first down now at the 28-yard line. The Rams winning the toss to start this game. Here's Dickerson, and they somehow have got to slow him down, and that's a pretty good start, Hank.
Yeah, it really is, and that's why I say I don't want to belabor the point, but I'm going to keep talking about this during the course of the game. We'll find out how much confidence they have in their passing game, because, again, the defensive backs at that time were way deep, and they ought to throw in front.
We mentioned Ron Brown. Brown playing with the flu. He seemingly will be okay. He's least in the starting lineup. Up front, Dennis Hara got a scare a week ago with a knee injury, but he's come back strong wearing a brace on the knee. Second down now, 14 to go for the Rams. Dickerson and Harry Regg, the running backs. Bartkowski had beautiful protection a week ago, this time in trouble, and evidently had his arm hit that time. Greg Brown, number 98, coming in from the right side defensive end spot.
Watch Brown now, number 98, makes a stunt on the inside. There you see him. He's out of the picture now. You see White, 92, putting pressure, and Steve Bartkowski has to move a little bit. And any time that you make Steve move laterally, he is not going to throw the ball nearly as well as he does going back straight in the pocket and stepping up and throwing and following through. That's the problem with Steve at this stage of his career.
The Eagles last week had 5 sacks in that losing cause to Denver. They hope to come after Bartkowski. 3rd and 14. This time it's almost picked off and in. Intercepted. That's Andre Waters. And Waters to the 21.
This time they're in the shotgun, as you can see, and he goes back into the pocket. He's looking to the right side, and then he throws inside there, and there's double coverage on the play, and number 20, Andre Waters, finally makes the interception, and they have great field position. And again, the Rams started the game last week again in Indianapolis about this same way. They fumbled last week, and now they throw an interception.
That's the third interception of the year for Waters. Gary Gray was leading the NFL at the start of the year with 3, and here comes Byers. Keith Byers, the number 1 draft pick. First and goal now at the 9. Vince Newsom made the stop for the Rams. Defensively, here's the Rams. Reggie Doss, he kind of goes unnoticed up front. He's just there every week ready to play. And now Mark Giroux is going to be calling the defensive signals in the absence of Carl Eckern, who has a groin pull. And back deep, Vince Newsom. We just mentioned his name. He is a high-velocity tackler.
Mike Haddox really threw a great block on the last play.
First and goal now, just inside the 10 for the Eagles, trying to capitalize on the turnover. Michael Haddox, the fullback, runs into people. In particular, Nolan Cromwell was there first and gets very little, if anything, on that play. The Eagles have had such a tough time running the ball. They're hoping to crank up Keith Byers, who did a very good job on his first effort. Thus far, he's only averaged 1.9 per carry. And up front, the offensive line, they're concerned about Leonard Mitchell. He comes in here with a injured knee. However, he thought he'd be able to go. He's got a heavy brace on it.
We talked to him yesterday, and he was gimping around. Looked like Chester walking around the field yesterday, but in spite of that, he's out there playing today.
Hank, he's a 295-pound Chester.
Yes, he is. You're right.
Second and goal now from the 10. Spagnola in motion, the tight end. Jaworski, and it's broken up, and on the deflection, out of bounds. Kenny Jackson almost had the touchdown reception, but he ran out of room trying to gauge the deflected pass.
Wasn't that a great effort on the part of Jackson? Great presence. Jerry Gray, number 25, was defending on the play. The ball goes up into the air. And watch Jackson react immediately, go after the ball. He certainly doesn't know where he is this time because he's watching the ball, but he just barely gets the other foot on the line, and as a result, he's out of bounds. Great action, though, on the part of Jackson.
So the Eagles now have third and goal. They've made nothing on the first 2 attempts after getting a first and goal inside the 10.
This is a great play for great field position for a draw play on the 8-yard line.
The veteran Jaworski at 35 years of age, out to Haddox to the 5, and it's going to be 4th and goal. Mel Owens, who's played 2 of the best back-to-back games in his NFL career, was there to make the stop.
It's a high percentage play. They want to make sure they still, if they don't get the yardage, they're going to still get a chance to kick the field goal. And so they throw the ball out into the flat area to Haddox, number 26. Tries to make a move to the inside and doesn't make the yardage necessary. Newsom comes in from the side along with some other people and makes the tackle.
Rams got to be happy that they're making the Eagles settle for a field goal here. Paul McFadden will come in.
You know, the funny thing about McFadden, talking to him yesterday, his ritual is on a field goal situation, Gary, he goes in about 12 yards behind the ball because he wants to look at the goalpost, and they look very narrow from that distance. Then he walks forward 10 yards, and they look like they're a lot wider, and there's a lot shorter distance, and they feel, from a mental standpoint, is very effective.
Well, they were wide enough there. He hit it. There's the Rams quarterback of the future, Jim Everett, the All-American out of Purdue, the number 1 draft pick of the Oilers. They acquired him by trade. He just this week signed a 4-year contract. And John Robinson is saying to us, we're going to get him ready as fast as we can. Look at the stats he had. 23 touchdown passes. Hank, he's got such size. He's 6'5", weighs 215 pounds. The kickoff. 3-0 the Eagles. And bringing it out again is Ron Brown. Brown has a little gap out to the 40, and he'll advance just about to the 40-yard line. Coming over to make the stop was the kicker, McFadden. Oh, we mentioned Ben Dreith a little bit earlier as in charge of the crew, and of course we must mention the replay booth. Nick Skorich, the former Cleveland Brown coach, will be the official. The communicator, Joe Brown from the NFL office. And, of course, we'll be talking about instant replay through the course of the day as we have a poll that will be conducted. From the 39 now, good field position. That's not what the Rams had on the first time.
And this is not what they've done so far extremely well like they did a year ago as far as their specialty teams are concerned. This is good field position. They're off to a good start in this drive.
Single running back is Eric Dickerson.
Look at over here again. See, there's so much room. Okay, good.
Here's Dickerson up the middle. He fumbled the ball. Picked up by Wes Hopkins of the Eagles, and Hopkins will be dropped. That's interesting, Hank. The Eagles told us yesterday they thought they could get the ball stripped from Eric Dickerson.
Here's a replay. See, they're playing a softer defense this time. They dumped the ball off to Eric Dickerson. He's got the ball in the left hand. Is not snug to his body. And Andre Waters knocked the ball loose. And it's recovered by Wes Hopkins, number 48. And again, the Eagles have good field position, this time on the 40.
As we said at the start of this broadcast, it's been the Eagles that have been making the mistakes. They had 11 turnovers in the first 3 games. Today, the Rams with 2 turnovers early. Kenny Jackson in motion. Jaworski to Byers. The big 233-pound rookie advances out to the 45-yard line. Vince Newsom made the stop.
Watch Spagnola, John Spagnola, number 88. Coming off the line of scrimmage, blocking down, uses his left shoulder, good position, and maintains the block very, very well that time on Doug Reed, number 93.
Going to bring up now, 2nd down, 5 yards to go. Eagles just haven't been able to run the ball effectively. Today, they've gotten off pretty well. A couple of fine runs by Byers. Spagnola in motion. Jaworski, quick flip to Quick. Quick to the 50. That'll be a first down as he's knocked down there. Jerry Gray, second-year man out of Texas, up to make the stop. First down, Philadelphia.
That's a quick screen that time, and look at all the room they've got over here. But watch, he starts up the field, comes back, drives Gray off the line of scrimmage. But look at the help they got from the inside, and he doesn't get inside quickly enough. And as a result, Gray comes up quickly and makes the tackle. Really a terrific tackle by Jerry Gray, number 25.
That's when you have guys like Quick, you want to isolate him out there as much as you can, and he made a fine play on it.
And it's unusual that on a one-on-one situation that one guy's going to make the tackle, but Jerry Gray did.
First down now at the 49 of Los Angeles. Jaworski to Byers, and Byers moves the pile forward a little bit as he advances to the 47-yard line. Byers, as you probably know, coming back from that problem with his foot. He had to have bone grafted on his foot. He had special treatment all preseason. And there's some thought about Byers, Hank, that he still isn't completely sure that that foot is 100%.
Well, I think that really the indecision comes from the fact that he wasn't in any mini camps. He wasn't in training camp. He was, he's only played in 2 games. So as a result, he's a kind of tentative, I think, kind of feeling his way with the system and everything. And the unusual thing about him is he's a very flat-footed runner.
Well, he has those big feet. It looks like gunboats out there. We'll talk more about that later. On his 2nd and 8, here is Haddix. Big hole. Haddix about a yard short of the first down. A big tackle by Leroy Urban. Beautiful open field tackle that kept Haddix from picking up the first down.
That's the 2nd big run they've made to the left side or to the right side of the Ram defense. Big hole, and a good block there by Baker, Ron Baker, number 63. And also Keith Byers, number 42.
3rd down, a yard to go. Coming into this game, the Rams leading the NFL in rushing defense, allowing just over 67 yards a game. So thus far, the Eagles have done much better than the statistics would indicate. Straight ahead comes Haddix. He's got the first down across the 40 to the 39.
And conversely, the Eagles have only rushed for 81 yards a game, Gary. So they're out really to do a much better job of obtaining balance today. Watch Dave Little, number 89. He comes back to the left in motion, comes back on the inside and gets a piece of Dejanay, number 70. And they're able to make enough yardage for the first down.
Buddy Ryan's team off to a successful start, leading 3-0 and trying to capitalize on the 2nd turnover of the game.
Talking to Buddy yesterday, I said, what are you going to do? He said, got to run home and mow the grass.
You won't mind mowing the grass if he wins today. Jaworski over the middle. Spagnola Boy, he loves to look to his big tight end, who last week had 4 catches, and this time comes up with another grab.
Spagnola is a very bright receiver, goes to the open area between the linebackers, and there he is. He squats right in that area. The ball is high, but he makes the catch, and is finally tackled there by Mark Giroux,
Second
the
down.
inside linebacker.
Excuse me, Hank. Second down, 2. The thing about Spagnola is that Jaworski, when in doubt, seems to always find this big tight end at 6'4", 235 pounds. Haddix comes in motion. Jaworski looking to Haddix. Nope, going to hit Spagnola again. And Spagnola has a first down catch. Vince Newsom coming up from the free safety spot to make the tackle.
Watch Spagnola again. They stretch the defense with the by sending a man in motion. He goes right down the hash marks, and the ball is open between the defensive backs, and Newsom, number 22, finally made the play. But they're stretching that zone as much as they can laterally, and throwing the ball between the linebackers and the defensive backs.
Hank, I tell you, I like the Eagles' game plan. They really look like they're playing with confidence now, and as you mentioned, really causing some problems. First down now at the 15.
Look at all the room they got on the right side here with Gray.
Jaworski looking right.
There he is.
Time pass for Quick, intercepted by Newsom. Nope, he's out of bounds. Newsom was out of bounds, and that's a break for the Eagles.
That was a bad play, because really the area in front of Gray was much better. He was playing deep enough. You're not going to run behind him. They ran a right and up, you see, and it gave Newsom plenty of time to come over from his safety position and make the interception. However, he was out of bounds when he made the play.
Hank, is that one of those things where Jaworski just has to get rid of the football, or should he hung on there?
Well, he was trying to throw it in the corner of the end zone, I think, that time, but it hung up there too long. Normally, a defensive back can run 20 yards once the ball is in the air, and he covered a lot of territory that time.
So the time pattern did work. Second down, 10. This one's working. Touchdown, Spagnola.
Misdirection. Watch Spagnola's line up on the left side. Number 88 comes across underneath the linebackers. Nobody gives him a shot coming off the line of scrimmage. He's wide open. The ball is right where it should be, and he goes through the seam here, lowers the shoulders, and goes into the end zone for the touchdown. A beautiful looking play. Jaworski to Spagnola.
15 yards. Spagnola's first touchdown catch of this year. You see why they put him back in the starting lineup after Dave Little started the first 3 games. McFadden adds the point after. And Philadelphia, looking for their first win, is off brilliantly, 10-0. The Eagles have Byers moving. Their offense is moving. I'll never forget 1984. Keith Byers against Illinois, 67 yards. Watch this run. And he gives to Byers. Byers has the corner. He has the first down, and look out. He threw his shoe. He's running without a shoe with a touchdown. So, shoe or no shoe, Byers is a tough adversary. Kicking off now, the Eagles. Bring it out again will be Ron Brown, and Brown gets it out very effectively again, out to the 35-yard line. We understand Spagnola suffered a jammed shoulder after making that touchdown catch, but he's expected to be back into the game. Elbert Fowles made the stop on the play for Philadelphia. And from the 33, that's where the Rams will have it. The last drive after the fumble recovery, moving 60 yards, 5:18 in time, and Jaworski with a 15-yard touchdown strike. I would imagine people back on the West Coast area a little stunned by the beginning of this game. Unbeaten Rams against the winless Eagles. Philadelphia leading at 10-0. Here is Dickerson. Giving chase from behind was Greg Brown. He'll be dropped into the vicinity of the 39. Andre Waters also up there. Dickerson getting some running room, and John Robinson finding himself down, but they were down last week, Hank, and came back.
Well, that's the thing about this team. You know, they have a lot of poise, a lot of experience, and it's early in the game, and normally they respond very well to adversity, and they keep their feet in the fire, and they come back and do a good job. That's going to be a challenge for them this afternoon, because really the fact that this team is 0-3 doesn't indicate really the kind of talent they have. They're a lot better than an 0-3 team, talking about Philadelphia.
But as we mentioned, All the teams that they've played this year haven't lost a game yet.
But they have to throw the ball when they got the corners off like they are right now. Here he is. There he is. That's a good play. Whoop.
It's a good play if you catch the ball, Coach.
Yeah, he tried to run with it before he caught it. But that's the kind of thing. If they're going to give it to you, you might as well put a mask on a quarterback. It's like stealing. Just keep throwing the ball out there. That's all you have to do. Regardless where you are, if they're out 10 yards, throw the ball out there, which they did well on that last play.
So it's going to bring up now a 3rd down and about 5 yards to go. You wonder when you're not feeling well what it does to your concentration. And Brown, of course, we mentioned, battling the flu all week long, just not hanging on there. This time they're going to go from the shotgun.
They like to run a draw from the shotgun on some occasions, but I don't think they are at this particular time because the backs are not even with the tailback.
Arkowski with time, and Waters almost had another one. Andre Waters, who picked off one earlier, had he had that one, Hank, it would have been 16-0.
School would have been out, right? They'd have been ringing the bell because he would have intercepted that one. Look at, and he's got time enough to throw here. Throws outside, and Andre Waters gets good jump. They disguised the coverage is what they did. It looked like man for man. Then they roll into a double on that side. He had a responsibility back behind him by the safety man, and as a result, why he could be reckless and go for the interception.
Dale Hatcher with a very fine punt, and Evan Cooper makes the fair catch inside the 20-yard line. And so the Philadelphia Eagles, who haven't won a ball game, right now in command. Eagles 10-0. Hank, they always say that you play like you practice. They felt they had their best week of practice, and look what's happened.
Yes, to a man. They all indicated they had a great week of work. But I think also the real fact here is, Gary, that they feel much better about what they're doing defensively, and they feel that all the games that they've lost, they just lost because they made a lot of mistakes. They feel they're capable of playing a lot better.
So after a 43-yard punt by Hatcher, Byers tests the left side of that offensive line and advances out across the 20 just to about the 21-yard line. And so the Eagles with a 10-0 lead, scoring on a 15-yard touchdown pass and also a 22-yard field goal by Paul McFadden will set it up at the 21. 2nd down, 8 yards to go, make it 9 to go.
Jeter is in it right in, and he really gets off the ball. He's lost some weight. He's much quicker than he was a year ago. And the left tackle, Gillespie, is going to have his hands full trying to block him on passing situations.
That's a very resourceful run by Haddix. Good change of direction across the 25 to the 26. Good block by Ken Reeves, number 66. It's going to bring up 3rd down, 3 yards to go for the Eagles.
Steve Busick that time, number 53, did a good job of coming in and making the tackle.
Just across the 25-yard line as now Spagnola comes out of the ball game. Ron Johnson, 85, is checked in. Have 3 wideouts on a 3rd and 3.
They got 6 defensive backs in the game right now, Gary.
To this side comes Jackson and Quick. From the shotgun, Jaworski. They pick up the blitz and then try the little draw, and it didn't fool anybody. Newsom was coming on a blitz. The offensive line picked it up, but he also ran right to the spot of the tackle. It's 4th down. Should instant replay be used in the NFL? That's our question, and that's the question we're asking in our poll. You can cast your vote by simply dialing the number listed next to the category of your choice. And there's a vote on the right-hand side thus far, and there's a charge of 50 cents per call. And we'll see how the fans are voting at halftime and also on the NFL Today post-game show. Revised right now is leading, isn't it? Hank and I'll have some thoughts about that as the game wears on. As back to punt is a man who's been struggling a little bit, Telchuk. The rookie out of Texas. Boy's not struggling there. Look at that punt. Mickey Sutton inside the 20. Beautiful punt. And Sutton will advance it out to the 29. There's a penalty flag. Andre Waters over there covering on the punt. So Telchuk, who last week had a 13 and a 29-yard punt, made amends there, didn't he, Coach?
Yes, he really did. We talked to him yesterday, and he said the real problem has been I've been trying so hard, I've been so tense. I'm just going to relax and kick the ball tomorrow, and he sure kicked it that last time.
56 yards, as Ben Dreith indicates.
Illegal block
of the hands.
on number 54 on the receiving team. That's 10 yards, and it's 1st down.
So the Rams will not have good field position. We're going to take a break here from Veterans Stadium. John Robinson's team down by 10. One of the keys to this game is slow down Eric Dickerson. You don't stop him very much. He's carried the ball 3 times for 17 yards. 6'3", 218, the size to go with the speed. And right now, he's lined up behind the Rams. They have the ball at the 28-yard line. Bartkowski gives to number 29. Good leg drive will take him to the 30, and the Eagles are aware of his presence. They are swarming him right now.
Well, they're keying on him. They say you got to have a head on him. Everybody has to have a head on him, and that's true. But, you know, the thing the Eagles are doing a good job of, they're changing from their 46 to a 4-3, changing coverages, disguising them very, very well. And I think it's creating somewhat of a problem for Steve Bartkowski.
Boy, what a difference a week makes, Hank. You got to realize now the Eagles have given up over 600 yards rushing in the first 3 games. And today, it hasn't been easy on any of the carries for the Los Angeles Rams. 10-0 Philadelphia.
See, now they're in a 46. See, they changed to the 46.
2nd and 7. Bartkowski and intended for Barry Redden. There's a penalty flag at the line of scrimmage. Barry Redden, who leads his team a number of catches, that time could not make the connection, but the penalty is going to go against the Los Angeles Rams. Holding.
Usually when they drop it in that area, it's holding, and that's exactly what it is.
Shows you again, Coach. Statistics really don't mean an awful lot when you look at the way this game has been played
Illegal
today.
use of the hands on number 56 on the offense. That's 10 yards. 87. 2nd down.
I think the other thing is very obvious. I think the Rams like to come out of the chute running the football. That's what they do best. And right now, they're a little bit off the pace a little bit. They're throwing the ball, and they don't look nearly as smooth as they normally look in this situation.
From the 21 now. 2nd down, 17. Doug Smith was the guy guilty of holding on that last play. Here's Dickerson again, and again the Eagles are there. And this crowd, which was a little hostile last week on the home debut, has really come back to get into this one. Greg Brown made the stop. This is Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, the home of the Eagles. Game 4 in this 86 season. And right now, surprise developing. The Philadelphia Eagles leading the Rams 10-0, jumping on them early as we now have 48 seconds left in this first quarter. I'm Gary Bender along with Hank Stram. As now it comes to a 3rd down and still 5 yards to go for the first down. Check that. 13 yards to go for the first down. Bartkowski. Little pressure. Gets it off. Tight end Tony Hunter, but he is downed immediately. They still have 10 yards to go for the first down, and it's 4th down. It seems as though, Hank, the Eagles are ready for anything they can throw at them.
Yeah, they play man for man that time, and they had everybody faded in good shape. And, of course, you throw underneath. No chance at all to make the necessary yardage for the first down on that kind of a play. And as a result, Bernard Wilson was man for man and made the tackle.
Here's Hatcher, another beautiful punt. Back is Cooper at the 22. Nice spinning move, and the Michigan 3rd-year player brings it out to the 34-yard line. However, there's another penalty flag clear at the other end of the field.
Kenny Jackson, number 81, really made a great block downfield on that attempted return.
Another penalty against the Rams, who are having a very difficult time getting untracked in the early going. We have come to the end of the first quarter, but let's sort this one out first. Ben Dry talking to John Spagnola whether they want the football or to take the penalty.
They have good field position. They have the ball, and a lot of times that determines whether you're going to turn down the penalty or accept
Number
it.
90 on the kicking team was down the field illegally.
I would think they'd decline it.
The penalty and take the football.
It's Mike McDonald who snaps on the punts, who got down there prematurely. We've come to the end of the first quarter. Buddy Ryan's team with a 10-0 lead.
For great taste, there's only one light beer. Mobil 1 synthetic motor oil. Mobil 1 protects your engine better than any conventional motor oil. And by the heartbeat of America, today's Chevrolet.
2 turnovers by the Rams have led to 10 points in this football game. McFadden capitalizing on the first from 22 yards out, and Spagnuolo with a 15-yard touchdown catch from Ron Jaworski as we begin the second quarter. First down now for the Eagles. Mike Wilcher, Steve Busick. That's Busick who's starting now because Carl Eckern hasn't been able to come back from the groin pull. Giroux has taken over the defensive signals, and Busick, who was a starter, the leading tackler the last 2 years for the Denver Broncos, has been thrown in there. They were concerned about the fact, Hank, he'd only been in 2 live plays prior to today.
But he's a good player, and I think the fact that he played so much for Denver is going to make this team a much better defensive team as they go along during the course of the season.
Second down and 8. Jaworski. Kenny Jackson dropped it. Jackson, who was brilliant last week with 5 catches for 127 yards, just couldn't hang on to this one.
I don't know whether Jackson got his head around fast enough on the play. Let's take a look here now. He's just running it down, forcing the defensive back to the outside. Now he got the head around good shape. It's a bad angle. He was going away from the ball instead of coming back for it a little bit. He just missed the ball. He should have made the catch.
Yep, that was catchable. Jackson was not the starter the first 3 weeks due to the fact that he wasn't running his routes very well. So on a third down, we'll expect to see this a lot. Randall Cunningham coming in at quarterback. Anything more than 3rd and 7. This is 3rd and 9. Flag on the play as he releases the ball to Ron Johnson. Johnson made the catch, but let's see what the penalty's all about.
You know, a lot of people have scoffed at this system whereby he goes in on 3rd and long, but I think it's a great idea because he has great scrambling ability, has escapability skill, and as a result he puts a lot of pressure on the defense, and all you have to do is talk to the defensive coordinators about the plan, and they all think it's very, very effective and puts a lot of pressure on him.
Well, John Robinson
holding offense number 77. That's 10 yards, and it's 3rd down.
On a snap.
That's Tom Gillespie.
Tom Gillespie, number 77, trying to block Jeter. There you see him. He's got him in the vise. There you see him holding as he tries to go by. And that's why they call the penalty on Tom Gillespie, number 77. Played his collegiate football at Purdue University.
So it's 3rd and 18 yards to go. I started to say, John Robinson said Cunningham is scary. Because when he comes in there, you've got to be aware of what he can do. This time, Johnson again. And that's very close to the first down. No, he did not catch it. The official indicating the ball skipped. Hit the turf. As an end result, Johnson will not be given the reception. So it's going to be 4th and 18. Now, wait a minute. Yep, they're ruling the ball did hit. One of the officials went running up to indicate the point where the ball made contact with the field. But Cunningham, to get back to bringing him in on those 3rd down and longs, Hank, what does that do to a guy like Jaworski? Does that hurt his rhythm? Does that take him out of the game a little bit?
The way they've been pass blocking, when he goes over the sideline, he comes off with a big smile. But he doesn't have to worry about getting those shots on 3rd and long. So he's very, very happy about it, I'm sure. He'd like to be in there, of course, but I think they are doing what they think is best with the ability of their team, and I think it's a great move.
Telchik, you see what he had the last time, a 47-yarder. This time he did not hit it as well. He's going to get somewhat of a roll. Mickey Sutton at the 35. He'll be down there. Another penalty flag. Boy, we cannot punt a ball today without having a penalty flag.
You know, I talked to Mickey Sutton on the field before the game, and he was catching punts, and he said, you know, the problem with catching punts before the game without my pads, I have a tendency to catch the ball against my body, and then I know when I put the pads on, I can't do that because I'll hit the pad and bounce out. So I have to really remind myself all the time to make sure that I catch the ball in my hands, with my hands all the time.
It's going to come back. Penalty against the Rams. You were mentioning.
Had an illegal formation. They're going to take the 5-yard penalty. Kick it over.
Let me ask you something, Hank. You used to also feel that if you didn't have pads on, you shouldn't be doing some things just in warming up because sometimes guys go diving after a ball and hurt their shoulder.
Yes, we always had a rule, you know, on days when we practice in shorts and without pads. We didn't do it very often, but we had a rule that We did not want anybody to dive for a ball or have any kind of collision, the defensive back and an offense and a receiver, because there was always a chance for injury. Let him catch the ball. You were at the right spot, at the right place, but don't make the mistake of trying to do something that you shouldn't do without the shoulder pads, because it could prove to be a big problem from an injury standpoint.
Penalty against the Eagles. High snap, but Telchik's there. Mickey Sutton will come up. He's going to field this in about 3 yards further up the field than he did the other end, but he's going to give the Rams much better field position. Instead of his own 35, he takes it to the Eagles' 45-yard line. So taking the penalty was a good move. Alonzo Johnson made the stop. The Rams still looking to get on the scoreboard. From the 45-yard line, the Rams have the football after that punt, trailing 10-0. 13:27 left in the second quarter of play.
See, now they're in a 46.
Buddy Ryan, development of the 46 defense. Bartkowski on target, but a collision, and Ron Brown can't hang on. Excellent coverage by Evan Cooper. That ball was beautifully thrown, but very tight coverage.
Yeah, right where it had to be, and it looked like it should have been caught. And again, you know, going into the game, the Rams like to run the ball 40 times approximately and throw it 20 to 25 times. They still have to maintain that same run personality and do it successfully, but when they throw the ball, they have to make good plays, good intelligent reads, take advantage of coverages, and make big plays with the passing game within the framework of those 20 or 25 passes. So far, they haven't done it.
Rams only had the ball 4 minutes and 40 seconds in that first quarter. Here is Dickerson on the second down 10. He's inside the 40 to the 39. It'll bring up third down. Let's go to New York. Here's Brent Musburger.
Well, Gary, the Chicago Bears are a different team with Jim McMahon back at quarterback. Jim has thrown 2 touchdown passes and run for a third. This is the 53-yarder to Willie Gault, and the Bears are routing the Bengals 21-0 in the second. Back to Gary Bender.
Well, Hank, Jim McMahon does make a difference, doesn't he?
He sure does. He sure does.
Third down now, 4 yards to go for the Rams, just inside the Eagle 40-yard line.
Well, they got a lot of room on that left side, 1-for-1 coverage.
Bartkowski from the shotgun. Pumps off the rush. Intended for Brown, and a beautiful play by Ronell Young. Ronell Young with the interception.
What a play here. Now watch Bartkowski looking to his left. He waited a little bit too long. He had one-on-one coverage over there. He's flushed out of the pocket. They missed the tackle. He tries to throw the ball on the run. The ball is hanging up there a long time. And finally, Ronell Young, number 43, makes the interception. And now the Eagles have possession, 1st and 10.
3 turnovers now by the Rams. 1 fumble, 2 interceptions. As you can see, Young, the #1 draft pick in 1980 for the Eagles, coming up with his first of the year. Young has been plagued by injuries the last 2 years, but he's been playing extremely well, as evidenced by that play. From the 20 now, Philadelphia with the lead and the football. Magnola in motion. Jackson can't hang on. And Jaworski took a pretty good pop on that play. Doug Reed came barreling through, and Ron, it's okay, but Reed made him realize he was in the vicinity. Next Saturday, college football on CBS. For those of you on the West Coast, we'll see Arizona State at UCLA. The Sun Devils tying Washington State last night. That's 11:30 Pacific time. And those of you in Pennsylvania will see Iowa take on Michigan State, and Heisman Trophy candidate Lorenzo White, who became the Spartans' all-time rushing leader, as yesterday he had 192 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Interesting to watch Jeter now on Gillespie. 77 against 77, right against left tackle. A draw play this time.
The draw will advance it out to the 25-yard line. It's going to bring up third down, 5 yards to go. Getting up very slowly on that play was Ron Baker in that offensive guard spot for the Eagles. Haddix has really come on, and Buddy Ryan said he's playing 100% better. The thing that he really likes about Haddix is the way he's been blocking. And when you put Haddix and Byers in the same backfield, that's a load.
Well, it's a load because Haddix is 6'2" and 225, and of course Byers is 6'1" and 230. So you got a couple of heavyweights back there, and they do a good job of helping each other from a blocking standpoint, as you mentioned.
3rd down 5, penalty flag. Boy, we've had a lot of penalties. Jaworski trying to hit quick, but there was just nothing developing on that play.
Looked like Sean Miller that time was offside on the play, number 98.
It was a 3rd and 5 before that snap of the ball.
Defense was offside. That's going to be 5 yards, and it's also be a first down.
First down.
Well, Hank, you caught that one. Sean Miller, the guy they call Dirt, who wears the ponytail out there. That time, Dirt was offside. There he goes. He's going to go over, and I'm sure somebody will mention that he was offside.
Unusual thing about the Rams so far, they don't make that many mistakes, and that's why they win like they win. Today, so far in the game, they've made a lot of mistakes, and that's why they're trailing like they are at this stage of the game, 10-0.
Their 3rd road trip in 4 games thus far. Last year, they defeated the Eagles here in Veterans Stadium. Jaworski, pressure. Wilshire's got him, but he got it off to Haddix. And Haddix trying to get to the first down area won't. Boy, Jaworski really took a shot from Mike Wilshire. Steve Busick eventually made the tackle on Haddix.
I think Wilshire, he's great in space. Talking about space, meaning that there's nobody on top of him. If you don't put a tight end or a back on him, he is murder. Got great penetration, made the sack that time, number 54. I think when you play against Wilshire, you better use left formations a lot to have the tight end on his side, because he's murder when he's in space.
Came from North Carolina, the same school that produced Lawrence Taylor, and he has some of the same assets that Taylor has. Great blitzer. Haddix, and now Falatasi is coming to the backfield. Jaworski's pass deflected. On a 2nd down and 5, Jaworski trying to go over the middle.
Reggie Doss that time, number 71, got a piece of the ball. You know, the great thing about the Rams, I touched on it last week, but, you know, regardless what the situation is with the Rams, they're never going to panic. They're going to, you know, play their kind of football, and they say, fine, here we are. You know where we're going to be. You just try to lick us, and they think you're going to make more mistakes than they make, and that's how they're going to win the game. But so far, they've made more mistakes than the Eagles.
They've made 3 to be exact. They're just a beautifully coordinated defense. 3rd down and 4 yards to go now for Philadelphia. 10-0. The Eagles in the lead. Jaworski's got time, and he tries to hit Jackson. Jackson late making his break. Leroy Irvin defending on the play.
All right, here we see Quick coming off the ball, getting jammed by Gray. Finally breaks to the outside. The ball is thrown way on top. It falls incomplete.
I thought they were throwing to Jackson. They were both in that same area.
Yeah,
Hank.
they really were. You're right.
It was actually Quick, I guess, was the intended receiver, but Jackson looked like he was closer to it. Kelchik now to punt to this man, Sutton, former USFL player. Kelchik hits it very well. Inside the 20 is Sutton. And he's going to get out to the 30-yard line. Over there is Alonzo Johnson, the rookie out of the University of Florida, to make the stop. 47-yard punt by Kelchik. The Eagles right now continue to lead. Philadelphia 10-0 lead. Hank, one thing that was interesting this week in the Philadelphia camp, both the offense and defense called their own caucus this week away from Coach Buddy Ryan, trying to get the ball club come back.
Yeah, I think meetings are great, but I'd rather have them have the meeting before they go 0-3.
That's better than going 0-4 without one. Right?
That's right.
Okay. To the 35 come the Rams. Barry Redden carrying the football. We have 10:17 left to go in this first half. The Eagles with a 10-0 lead, scoring all 10 of their points in the first quarter. There he is, 52-year-old Buddy Ryan. And he has that double-barrel tongue. He's not afraid to say what he believes, and maybe today people are starting to believe what he says.
Well, I think the other great thing about him is, you know, he has a philosophy, and he's strong enough to exercise the philosophy. He doesn't care what anybody thinks about it. He's going to do it his way, and you like that.
Dickerson still having a tough time running with the ball. There's another penalty flag as he tries to hit off the right-hand side. Dickerson had 193 yards in game 1. Last week, 121. Coming in, he needs only 640 yards to become the all-time leading rusher for the Rams. But today he's had to work for every yard he's gotten.
Yeah, he's had to do it the old-fashioned way today. He has to earn it. And I think I think that one thing is very evident. I think somewhere along the line soon,
number 60, going back 10, and it's second down.
they have to run some kind of a misdirection play because the Eagles are chasing like crazy, and they have to get them off balance a little bit with something that starts one way and goes back the other, maybe a reverse, something. But I think they have to slow down that pursuit.
They got to cut down the turnovers. They have 3. That holding call was on Dennis Hara. Makes it 2nd and 16. Markowski to Dickerson, and Dickerson's going nowhere. That's Greg Brown, number 98. Brown, an excellent pass rusher, that time playing the rush very effectively. The 6th-year man out of Kansas State. His 40th straight start for the Eagles today.
You know, talking about Buddy Ryan, we talked about, made a parallel. I said last year with the Bears, you played the Rams, and you shut down Eric Dickerson, and of course you won the game handily. And he said, well, that's here again. We have different people here, but we think we've got a great defensive line, and we feel if we can slow them down, we can win the game.
First 3 games this year, one individual has rushed for 100 yards against the Eagles. Dickerson is wanting to be the 4th. We'll see what will develop. On a 3rd down, little toss forward. That's not going to get it done. Dickerson is dropped by Bernard Wilson, and they're going to have to punt the football.
You know, the other thing, anytime they're in a spread formation, Gary, watching that, I was going to mention before the ball was snapped, and anytime Dickerson is even with a quarterback, he's going to run the ball from spread formation, from the shotgun. If he's ahead of the quarterback, it's going to be a pass, and that time it looked like they read it perfectly because he was even with Bartkowski, and they gave him a draw.
Low snap to Hatcher. Coming up is Cooper. He's got it at the 35. He's got a block. And to the 40. Nice spinning move to the 44. This crowd is into the game. The Eagles are into the game. They have a 10-0 lead. 8:09 to go in the first half. Philadelphia scoring all their 10 points in the first quarter. The 8:09 mark now. They'll have the football just short of the 45-yard line. Look at this. Mike Quick is tied with 5 other guys for the longest pass reception in NFL history. We're going to pick up that play. This won a game in overtime.
The worst possible field position inside the 1-yard line. Jaworski retreats. He's looking. He fires the football. Complete to Quick. He's going to go. 25-40, 35-40, midfield, 45-40, 35-40. Mike Quick, touchdown. The Eagles win. Jaworski to Quick, 99 yards. The longest pass play in Eagles history.
And there he is, one of the elite receivers. 1 catch thus far today.
He looked like Will Chamberlain from waist down in that run, didn't he?
It's fun to run when you're open like that.
Talk about long legs.
First down now, Jaworski. Thus far, 6 of 12. There's a pass by Byers. Quick! How about this? Touchdown.
We saw him do this in practice yesterday. He threw it the same way, end over end, but it got there. Look at it. He's out here all by himself. Stops and throws the ball like a hand grenade. Pulled the pin. Got it to Quick, right on the numbers, and it's all over. He walks the dog right into the end zone.
I tell you, it doesn't matter how the pass looks if it gets there. Byers threw one at Ohio State. He completed it. And you're right, Hank. I think this one even looked worse than the one he threw in practice, but it got there, and that's all that matters.
Well, the great thing about that kind of a pass, you can catch at either end, see? Here it is again. Goes back in the pocket, throws the ball out to Keith Byers. He stops, throws the ball behind to Quick, who is behind a defensive back. Newsom is in hot pursuit, but it's all over. School is out. Here's another look at it. Watch Wilshire. Now he gets caught on the inside. You see blitzing with a tight end in his side. That makes a big difference. He throws the ball over the top. Newsom is in hot pursuit. But it's all over.
Hank, what's interesting, I doubt very many people knew that Byers was left-handed, so you would expect maybe that option to go the other way. And so they really caught him deep and quick 55-yard touchdown catch.
Well, that's what Keith said yesterday. He smiled and he said, you know, not many people know that I throw left-handed, or not many people know that I throw period.
I tell you what, they know it now, Coach.
That's right.
You don't think that film's not going to be shown around the league?
Yep.
How about this? 17-0 now in favor of the Eagles. Short kickoff. It'll be taken by the short man Rob Carpenter, the former Giant, and he'll bring it to the 24-yard line. You know, if you look at the score, you'd say which team is unbeaten and which team lost their first three. Right now, it's all Philadelphia. Their total yardage also a dominating factor, as well as on the scoreboard. After losing to Chicago, Hank, in overtime, I'm sure that hurt their cause last week against Denver. That had to take something out of them. But they've really bounced back here today.
Well, I tell you, the amazing thing about it was, you know, being here like we were since Friday, the attitude of the team has been excellent. You know, you never would dream they had lost 3 games by the way they practiced and the way they talked about their football team and the future of this team.
Said they had to quit making the mistakes they have. The Rams have not. They've committed 3 turnovers. There's the pass as they try to build a comeback. Completed to Bobby Duckworth. Excellent catch. It'll be a first down across the 35. Next Sunday on CBS, an NFL doubleheader. It all starts with the NFL today at 9:30 Pacific time, 12:30 Eastern. For those of you now on the West Coast, you're going to see Game 1, Minnesota-Chicago, while those of you in Pennsylvania will see the Eagles take on the surprising Atlanta Falcons. Then in Game 2, you'll see either the Buccaneers take on the Rams or Dallas at Denver.
See here again, look at that left side. If they give it to you like that, you ought to keep doing business over there. You see, let's see if they, now they're coming over here to the right side.
Dickerson, nice cut inside, comes back out across the 40 to the 41. Tom Newberry, the rookie out of Wisconsin lacrosse, made a good stop. Wes Hopkins has been re-injured now for Philadelphia. We'll check that out.
You can see as soon as he made the play, watch Hopkins comes into the picture, 48. Watch it come over here. He doesn't get a good tackle, but knocks him down. And as he rolls, there he is. Now look at see the way he starts to fall. You could tell he looked like he re-injured that knee.
His left knee, they're afraid it was going to become a chronic problem, and the guy who can play that position as well as anybody in the NFL now is being helped to the bench.
Found out a long time ago, you're a lot better off to play with healthy players than somebody has some bad nicks.
Good point. 2nd and 6, that one deflected. It was his decision, however, Hank, as to whether he'd play or not.
Yeah, but sometimes, you know, you got to make that decision for him because the kid is a great competitor and he wants to play, but you got to realize that, you know, I've been on so many teams where you fool yourself and you live in hope and die in despair for somebody who thinks he should be playing. He's got an injury, and you find out after the game he didn't really play like he should play, and you lost the game.
You don't want anybody dying in despair. 3rd down 6 now from the 40. Thus far, the Rams are 0 for 5 on 3rd down conversions. Nothing going very well for Los Angeles at this stage. They trail 17-0. Bartkowski from the shotgun. He gets it off, and Dickerson just can't hang on. Dickerson last week caught 4 passes, and they want to get the ball to him upfield. They want to get him involved in the passing game. And so, with 6 minutes and 56 seconds to go before the end of this first half, this crowd in Veterans Stadium is ecstatic as the winless Eagles leading it 17-0. I'm Gary Bender along with Hank Stram as the Rams have to get rid of the football. Hatcher didn't get into that one very well, but may get a roll. The Rams Norwood Band will down the ball at the 27-yard line. We mentioned Hopkins. Let's check him out. He hurt that knee, continuing to try to come back. He told us, Hank, he thought he was at about 75% efficiency, and that was on Friday, and I don't think a day would make that much difference.
No, I don't think it jumped up 25% in one day, and very frankly, I was very surprised that he was going to play, that he played today.
Terry Hogue, who they picked up from the Saints this year, will fill in for Hopkins when they get back on defense. That was only a 30-yard punt that time by Hatcher, so the Eagles have good field position at the 29.
For the Rams to get back into the game the way they're playing offensively, they've got to make something happen, make a big play on defense and their specialty teams, but they're struggling offensively.
Myers in motion. Jaworski looks him up, comes back to Jackson. Beautiful job by Jaworski, Hank, looking the coverage up and then coming up the middle for the first down toss.
See the great thing about Jackson is the fact that now Jackson is catching some balls. It takes a lot of pressure off of Quick. Look at, he's looking to throw the ball outside to the right to the quick, but then he comes back inside and throws the ball to Kenny Jackson, who makes the catch. But again, spraying the ball around to a variety of receivers puts an awful lot of pressure on the defense.
24 yards on that play. Jackson said when they demoted me, it made me hungrier. I decided I want to get back in that starting lineup.
That looks like they took care of that pretty good shade. He ate about 3 donuts yesterday.
You ate the rest of them.
That's right.
Here comes Byers trying to get wide. He gets away from Meisner. Boy, that's the Byers I remember, Hank. Giving that leg, take it away. Jerry Gray eventually knocked him out of bounds. And boy, if this guy ever gets it all back together, he can be a franchise player.
Well, he's going to be a franchise player. I don't think there's any question about that if he stays healthy. And the other thing that's going to help him be a franchise player is the fact that Mike Haddix at time 26 threw another great block. And if he continues to block like that for him, he's going to make a lot of real estate.
Make you a franchise player when guys are knocking those other guys down, huh?
Never any mystery. You don't do it with mirrors or magic. You got to block and tackle, and that's what they're doing real well right now.
Jaworski's doing well, too. Look at that, 7 of 13. Second down now, 3 yards to go. Protection is there, and over the middle it comes. This is Haddix, the fullback, coming out of the backfield, and that'll be another first down. Steve Busick, 53, up to make the stop. And Jaworski right now, seemingly everything he's trying is working. As you mentioned, he's spreading it around so effectively.
Well, the great thing about it is the fact that, you know, really he's getting very good protection. He doesn't have to get out of the pocket. He's hanging in there tough, and I think if you give him time to throw, why, they don't call him the Polish rifle for nothing. He can zip it.
What I was very impressed with, Hank, is his leadership during practice all week long. He was the holler guy. He was the guy that kept saying, we've got to make a commitment to learn the system of Buddy Ryan.
Well, I think he makes it happen, and you have to have that kind of leadership on a good football team.
First down from the 32. Here's Haddix. Haddix will get to about the 31-yard line. Well, we mentioned this poll we're having today regarding instant replay. The questions we're asking on our CBS Sports poll is that you can cast your vote now, and there are the 3 options, and you should dial the number listed next to the category of your choice. Charge of 50 cents per call, and we'll be looking at the results at halftime as well as the NFL Today post-game show. And look at this, 32% yes in favor of it, 44% for revised form, and 24% said get rid of it. Second down now, 9 yards to go. Jaworski on a time pattern, and that's quick, but he's out of bounds. You could see he just wasn't going to have the room that time. Nice effort, though, by Quick. Shows you his acrobatic ability. There is a penalty flag, however.
You can't cover a guy any better than this. Watch Quick come off the ball. Watch Gray try to knock him out of bounds. You see, but he's right with him, and he finally turns back to look for the ball at the appropriate time. Quick jumps right over the top and sucks the ball up like he's got a vacuum sweeper in his hand and goes in for the touchdown, but again, he's out of bounds.
Let's see what the penalty's all about.
That's an incomplete pass. The receiver went out of bounds, come back in and caught the ball. Incomplete.
I think you said it very well, though, Hank. Gray covered it so well. We're going to look at it again.
Yeah, here again, you can't cover any better than this, Gray. Now, see, when he starts to turn back and look for the ball, so does Gray. But the leaping ability of Quick is so outstanding that he jumped up over the top of the shoulders and made the catch. But he's out of bounds. See, I was so busy looking at his hand. He's definitely out of bounds. And as the official said, you cannot go out of bounds, come back in and catch the ball if you're an illegal receiver.
3rd and 10, and that means Randall Cunningham has come in at quarterback. The 3rd and long-distance quarterback.
You need a lasso for this kid once he starts running around back there.
6'4" out of Nevada, Las Vegas.
There he goes.
There he takes off.
There he goes.
And he's going to be very close. He dives. That may be it. There's a penalty flag. He may have gotten the first down. You think he doesn't have some athletic ability? It looks like Greg Louganis on this one.
See, that's the thing about him. You put good pressure on the outside, and then, see, he steps up into the pocket. He fakes like he's going to throw the ball, and then all of a sudden he tucks it away while the defensive end is up in the air. And there he goes, scampering down the sideline. Watch him come off the springboard and over the top. He looks like he jumped off a trampoline on that play.
What would you give him on that dive?
10.
However, it's going to come back, Hank. We've got a penalty against Philadelphia. But again, that shows you what Cunningham does. That scrambling ability, you've got to be awfully nervous if you're the Rams.
Yeah, and again, I think you have to give Buddy Ryan a lot of credit for coming up with the idea. I don't think I've ever seen many people do that, but it's a great thought because, again, you want to utilize the ability and skill of the people you have available.
Illegal block on number 26 on the offense. We go 10 yards from where the flag was, back 10, and it's still 3rd down.
I think Ben's upset about it. Michael Haddix, the guilty party. Let's see if we can pick it up.
Bottom of the screen. Watch him on 20. Watch it here on Johnny Johnson. Illegal block from the backside. You cannot block from the backside, and that's what he did, and that's what they call the illegal block.
Boy, it's too bad because that negates an unbelievable effort by Cunningham, but he'll stay in the football game.
Not only negates it, it takes it away, doesn't it?
3rd down now, 9 yards to go. 4:12 left in the first half. 17-0 Philadelphia. Cunningham's going to take off again.
There he goes again.
And he's very close. Did he get the first down? What an effort.
He reached out there with the ball, and I think he might have gotten a lot closer or maybe even made the first down.
They're going to measure, Hank. They're going to bring the sticks in. When you're 6'4", it helps in a situation like that.
And you got a 40-inch reach.
Now they're indicating it was a first down. They don't need the measurement. Hank, are you surprised there haven't been teams do this more often? Bring in a quarterback on 3rd and long?
Well, I don't think there's many people who have the running ability of Cunningham. I think if somebody maybe had that kind of skill and ability, they maybe would have taken advantage of it. But regardless, I think Buddy Ryan came up with a great thought.
You know, a guy could do that if he's Steve Young, maybe of Tampa Bay.
Sure. Yeah, no question.
From the 22-yard line, 1st down, Philadelphia.
Look at that right side. Look at the right side.
Jaworski waiting for Quick to clear. There he is. Can't hang on. Boy, you could see that developing all the way. They just couldn't quite get it hooked up.
But the great thing about it was, you see, it was a one-on-one on that side. They rotated the defense the other side. Look at all the room Quick has. See, look at all the room he has on Gray. He makes an outside-inside move. He pops behind him, and he almost makes the catch. Look at this. Looked like the center fielder out there. Looks like Willie Mays.
I tell you what, Jerry Gray got turned around about 3 times. I don't think he ever did find Quick on this one. After the fine coverage earlier, Quick had him turned inside out on that one.
The corner, when he covering against Quick, he doesn't need ligaments. He needs ball bearings in those knees.
Head on a swivel, right? 2nd down now, 10 from the 22. The Eagles are really creating some excitement on this drive.
There's a blitz.
And he got it off to Haddix. And Haddix will get to about the 20. Newsom coming up and stopping him at the 20, where it's going to bring up still 8 yards to go for the first down.
That's the problem with a play like that for a guy like Haddix. He catches the ball well, and he's a straight line runner. And even though he has a one-on-one situation in the open field, he can't get away from that one guy.
But the veteran Jaworski read the blitz very well, and now Cunningham will come in on a 3rd down and 9. You see the time remaining in the first half. A shocker here. The Eagles leading 17-0 and trying to build on that lead. 3rd down, 8.
They got a lot of room on that right side again.
Here comes the blitz. Jeter and Cunningham this time is going to be dropped for a loss back at the 24. Gary Jeter came flying through. Then Kevin Green, 91, put the finishing touches on. Coming up at halftime on the NFL Today, Brent, Irv, and Will have scores and highlights, and also Ann Butler reports on the remarkable story of William Andrews, his 2-year road to recovery. Also an update on the instant replay poll. William Andrews, boy, I'm glad to see him back, aren't you, Hank?
Oh, I really am. And of course, you know, he's such a delightful guy and such a team-oriented guy. He doesn't care. He just loves to play. And he, you know, talking to him in Tampa in a preseason game this year, he was so excited. It was the first game he was going to start and play, and he was like a kid with a new toy. And he just was so excited about just having the opportunity to do what he loves to do and just to play. And he's been doing great.
Well, I tell you, the Falcons have been doing great. Riggs, Andrews, we're going to have the 2-minute warning. It'll be a 41-yard field goal attempt by McFadden when we come back. McFadden will attempt a 41-yard field goal. He began the scoring in this game with a 22-yard field goal, and then Spagnuolo on a 15-yard touchdown catch, and then Quick on a 55-yard strike from Byers. And McFadden 2 of 2 for the year, looking for his 3rd straight.
And McFadden looks like he ought to have a candle in his hand. It looks like an older boy. You know, the other thing about him is, you know, he has total confidence in Jaworski. He said, I just listened to Jaworski, and he tells me right middle, left middle, middle, right upright, left right upright, and that's where I kick the ball.
And then he says, hit it. And here's McFadden putting it up and through. McFadden was dumped on that play after kicking the field goal. He now is perfect for the year. 3 of 3, and it's a 20-0 game. Let's look at this again.
You know, the great thing about McFadden is the fact that he gets a very good rotation on the ball, and as a result, it goes very straight. A lot of soccer-style kickers kick a kind of a spiral rotation, and in that situation, they kind of veer off right or left. He kicks it straight through like a straight-ahead kicker.
Boy, he's not very big, Hank. He weighs 163 pounds. They list him at 5'11". I question he's even that large. But he's 3 of 3. He's hit, coming into this year, 55 of 67 field goals, and he was a 12th-round draft pick. You talk about a steal.
And the amazing thing about it was that he used to kick with a shoe on, and then he watched Tony Franklin with the Eagles kick with barefoot, and he decided to do the same thing. He came to the camp, and they played the traveling music for Franklin because he's now kicking for New England, and he took his job right here. Now he's kicking barefoot.
How does that traveling music go? Can you hum a few bars for me?
Well, I will a little later. I need some good music.
20-0, Philadelphia. Again, it's a little bit short. Ron Brown looking for the alley, and he'll get across the 30 to the 31-yard line. Well, Bartkowski last week had a very effective performance against Indianapolis. Today, with some pressure, not throwing all that well. This team was last in passing. Bartkowski gave them the balance they wanted a week ago against the Indianapolis Colts, but now in a big catch-up posture.
He isn't throwing the ball like a frozen rope like he normally does today. Normally, he's got a lot of zip on the ball. RPMs are very high. Today, he's not throwing that way, and I think maybe there's a little confusion as far as coverage is concerned. And sometimes when he has to move and throw the ball, he doesn't throw with the same velocity.
And then you add the fact that he's thrown a couple of interceptions, and the Eagles are leading at 20-0.
See, now they're in the 46 with tight coverage. Wind up with an 8-man front. Now they're dropping back.
Bartkowski stays in there. He's hit from behind, gets it off to Dickerson, and that only got a couple of yards. Albert Foles over to make the stop again. Though they have pretty good pressure from that backside.
You're right. And again, you know, the other thing is if you can make Dickerson a receiver in the game rather than a runner, hey, that's great, because you want him to try to catch the ball instead of running the football. He said, great.
That's a good point. Bartkowski back now on 2nd down, way short. Penalty flag on the play. That ball was way short, but Bartkowski did not have a lot of time to get rid of it. He is a pure passer. He has the size to look over that defensive line. 6'4", 218. There'll be a holding call.
Reggie White was held that time by Doug Smith, I think.
But Bartkowski, 11 years playing for the Atlanta Falcons.
Number 56. We're going back 10, and it's still 2nd down.
So we're going to back up 10, and we now have 1:22 left in this first half.
See, the thing that's happening here really is you're seeing a team that's deviated totally from their personality, and they don't look like the same club because they haven't done what they normally do well, and that's run the football.
Look at that. Dickerson with 20 yards. They said they had to slow him down. They've done more than that. Virtually putting him in a standstill position.
Well, that's a great thing about a great back like him. You see, you can slow him down a little bit, and all of a sudden, he makes a big play.
Bartkowski comes out running, and he threw the ball. I don't think he got past the line of scrimmage. Intended for Michael Young.
He's beyond the line of scrimmage.
I thought he was, and Bartkowski may be hurt, Hank.
Boy, that's a tough break. He's such a great competitor. With those knees the way they are, he should never run.
Never is exactly right.
Never run. He should just slide and do the best he can, because any kind of a shot on those knees could be disastrous.
He's had 5 knee operations. Doesn't even have cartilage in one of the knees. Let's see where we can pick it up.
So he got pressure from the outside. And he starts to run up the middle where there's running room. Goes beyond the line of scrimmage. And after, he got hit. That's what,
man.
Boy, that was a tough,
that was Waters.
Andre Waters is exactly right. That's a terrible hit. That is a terrible hit.
The flag, however, now on the play at the 30. They're going to have to take him off the field. Oh, man, Hank, you know.
That's a shame.
It is a shame. Boy, this guy has been under the knife so many times.
Watch Waters hit him low, right at the knees with a shoulder pad. A good hit. A good hit. Nothing wrong with a hit except that it's a bad hit for the quarterback, Steve Bartkowski. That's a shame.
Well, you know, he was extended so funny, too. He was throwing the ball. His knee was locked a little bit when he was hit by Waters. Dills is the quarterback, and I want to tell you something. After Dills, they'd have to go to Nolan Cromwell. He's their emergency quarterback in this situation. Steve did play a lot in the preseason. In fact, he started the final preseason game.
The line through illegal forward pass. We're going back 5, and they lose it down, so it's 3rd down.
Boy, that's adding insult to injury. You lose your quarterback, you get a penalty, and things aren't going well for Los Angeles right now.
I wonder if a quarterback could play in his civilian clothes. Talking about Everett. He's sitting on the bench.
Well, they have him standing on the far sideline, and I'm sure John Robinson has turned to Everett by now and said, get ready, because they are now in a dilemma. Bartkowski does not look good. It's going to be 3rd and 22. There he is. I tell you, Bartkowski had such a great attitude about Everett joining him. He says, I'm going to help him all he can. He says, right now, this is my team. He may have lost that mantle now. Dills will come out of there throwing to Tony Hunter. Takes a big shot. Dropped 10 yards short of the first down at the 30-yard line.
You know what the Philadelphia Eagles are doing very well today? They're basically doing a great job of tackling. That was a terrific illustration of it. Bernard Wilson that time, straight ahead, got in front of the receiver and made the tackle on Tony Hunter.
We have a man shaken up for the Eagles. That is Waters, Andre Waters, who has an interception of this game and slow getting up. He was around the point of impact on that tackle on Tony Hunter. Well, Hank, we talked about this before, not to belabor the point. You wonder if every team should carry 3 quarterbacks. Now it looks like the Rams are down to 1 plus a safety.
I said last week, and I'll say it again, and I'll say it every week, I really think that the league should demand that every team in the National Football League have 3 quarterbacks on their roster. I think it's a must, especially with the high-speed collision and all the problems that are happening in physical problems in professional football. I think it's ridiculous not to have 3 quarterbacks.
We're going to see how Waters got hurt on this last play.
Upper left, watch Waters come into the picture, number 20. Oh, it looks like he gets hit by his own guy, Ken Clark. Ken Clark hit him. And I thought they were fraternity brothers.
Well, Bartkowski out of the game. He was 5 of 14 for 43 yards. It's been all Philadelphia. They lead it 20-0. 1:01 left in the first half. Hatcher to punt the football. Cooper back deep now for the Eagles. Cooper from the 35. And he'll get to the 42-yard line. Coming up at halftime, we'll be going to New York to join Brent Irv and Will McDonough with all the scores and highlights. Ann Butler with a story on William Andrews, a remarkable comeback by the Atlanta Falcon. And an update on our poll, the instant replay poll. If you haven't phoned, be sure to do so. 35-yard punt that time by Hatcher. The Eagles will have it at the 41. I'll tell you what, Hank, if somebody saw the score out on the West Coast area, they'd say, hey, they got that reversed. That must be the Rams leading 20-0.
Well, there's a lot of people probably feel the same way. They think it's probably a misprint.
But it is not. It's been the Eagles all the way, looking for their first win of this year. Bartkowski with a knee injury. We've been told they'll check him at halftime. Jaworski comes out throwing again. His favorite receiver, Quick. And Quick will bring it across the 45. They're going without a huddle as they have it at the 48-yard line. 2nd down 3, maybe 4. You see the time left in the first half. Jaworski with time again. They're trying to get to field goal range. This is Kawatasi, the rookie, out of Washington State, and he has some collision as he stopped at the 28-yard line. He and Irvin look like a couple of demolition derby experts as they collided on the near side. And Junior Tatalatasi, a real find this year out of Washington State.
Look at Quick. Look at the great block he makes on Cromwell downfield. It provides Tatalatasi with an opportunity to get down the sideline. Look at the hit collision on the sideline.
And now at the 28-yard line, there he is, Tatalatasi. He got him started wrong last week. He fumbled the opening kickoff against Denver, but he was extremely impressive in the preseason. He was a backup to Reuben Mays, and they discovered him, Hank, when they were looking at films of Reuben Mays, the number 3 pick of the Saints.
Yeah, that happens a lot of the time. You really do. You go with the idea of seeing one person. We got Nolan Smith that way. I went to Tennessee State to watch 2 other people and came back with Nolan Smith.
There's Jackson, touchdown.
Johnny Johnson, they had one-on-one with Johnny Johnson. Kenny Jackson makes the catch.
Wow, 27-0. They didn't take very much time after that short punt to get this one in.
Say, Johnson's on a line of scrimmage, bump and run. It's tough for him. Look at the longer they run, the farther, and he makes a mistake to look back for the ball before he should have lost where the ball was, and of course Jackson makes the catch.
Well, that's double trouble when you've got Quick and Jackson on the other side, and Jaworski has looked so effective today. Ron Jaworski, the veteran, here's his reaction.
Look at Jaworski. He's allowed to make the Polish Hall of Fame after that shot.
I tell you what, that wasn't a very high five, was it?
No, it wasn't. This team is all fired up.
Well, Hank, it just shows you when you believe in yourself, you keep doing the things that you think are right. And Buddy Ryan kept saying, I'm making these moves. I'm doing what I'm doing for the future of this ball club. He was criticized for cutting some of the veterans. Obviously, they were pounded very severely by Denver last week after losing in overtime to Chicago. And the guy says, I'll kick him, I'll kiss him, I'll do whatever it takes to get this football team going, and right now he's got him going.
Well, specifically, you know, he's traded or got rid of 18 players who were either on the active or injured reserve list from last year.
And 8 of them were starters, Hank.
Yeah, and you don't think they did a lot of squeaking, but again, it takes a lot of courage to do what he believes is right, and that's what he's doing. Just like Johnny Robinson on the other side of the field does exactly what he thinks he ought to do with his talent. And that's why you like these people, because they have minds of their own and they don't just do things because other people do them. They do it because they themselves believe in it.
That was Gooman who brought the ball out to the 38-yard line. Well, John Robinson's going to have to retool at halftime, find out if he has Barkowski available to him. Trailing 27-0. What a game this guy's having. Jackson, how about his counterpart? Well, on the other side, Quick.
Well, Quick said yesterday, he said the great thing about Jackson catching some balls is going to take a lot of pressure on me. I'm not always going to be double teamed, and he's right.
Steve Dills steps up, throws to Tony Hunter, and the Eagles seem to be everywhere. In this case, it's Waters who was out there and hurt previously, coming right back into the game with a bruised thigh, and we've come to the end of this first half. That's the end of the first half with the score. Philadelphia 27, the Los Angeles Rams nothing.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Chrysler Plymouth. We're working together to be the best. STP, makers of STP oil treatment. We've got what it takes to perform. And by Hewlett-Packard, the people who turn your business computing problem into a business computing solution.
27-0, Philadelphia leading Los Angeles. A real shocker at the halfway point. Hank Stram, coming into this game, it was the Eagles who were committing all the mistakes, but there's been 3 turnovers by the Rams, leading to 10 points.
Yeah, that's always a difference. You know, there's never any mystery to what happens, Gary, and I think as we talked at the beginning of the show, you know, the Eagles, they have a lot of very good people on this football team, and I think people in the league feel that their defensive line is the second best pass rushing team in the National Football League, the Bears being first. So it's no accident that they're capable of playing well, and that's what they're doing today, and the Rams are totally out of sync. they can't make anything happen. They haven't done that so far in the first half.
Well, that's true. Here's the scoring summary. McFadden with a 22-yard field goal at the 11:19 mark, and then Ron Jaworski moved the team 60 yards, and it culminated in a 15-yard touchdown pass to his tight end, Spagnola.
Spagnola, 88, is crossing across the defensive pattern, comes back to look for the ball, makes the catch. The ball's right on the money, and he goes right between the two defensive backs. Watch him here. Goes in for the touchdown, and they get 6 on the play, but a great misdirection play by the Philadelphia Eagles.
Well, that made it 10-0, and then the real surprise, Byers rolling out, hitting quick, 55-yard touchdown pass. Then McFadden came back with a 41-yard field goal, and then at the end of the first half with 17 seconds, it was Jackson on the end of a 27-yard touchdown. CBS Sports coverage of NFL football will continue after this message and a word from your local station.